Hi everyone. We are going to start with our Sunday 4 p.m. live. Just give us some more time. Ripunjay, I can see he has already joined, and he will be joining this live very soon. And yes, hi Ripunjay.
Yeah, hello, hi.
Hi, welcome to our Sunday 4 p.m. live with
Thank you
Fatal
so much.
Pal on Psychology India. And first, first thing first, congratulations for such a brave and monumental effort to win CKB. Those who don't know what
Thank
CKB
you.
is, that's Climbs Kebab, and what he has achieved, what he has done in less than 90 hours. Most of us have done breve of 1200 kilometers in less than 90 hours, but not many have done this kind of climb that is more than 10,000 kilometers, 10,000 meters climb under 90 hours, right, Ripunjay? So,
Yeah, correct, correct.
yeah, so tell us about how you started your cycling journey. Then we'll continue to how you started planning all these brave and all these endurance rides and etc. etc. First, tell us about how you started your cycling journey. That is most important.
So initially, it was started like I used to love cycling. I used to, like I am like a wanderer. I used to go here and there, even by walking also. So for my engineering, I went to Delhi. So and I started working there also. But in 2018, I came back. When I came back, my father and mother said that I had become bulky. Even I could see that I was a bulky little bit. So then I bought my first proper MTB. I said to my parents that I want these things in my bicycle, so I would require this amount and I need these things. So then that was the first time that I got a proper MTB. It was a frog bicycle, which I purchased from a nearby store. So from there on, I started going here and there near about places.
So
It helped me to.
that was which year? That was which year?
It was in 2018. In
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
In 2018, yeah, I bought the first MTB, Frog Chelsea. So that was when I started. I could feel free that yes, I could go anywhere. It was like that, and I always used to go alone only. I used to love being traveling alone like that way. So that's all you could say that 2018 April. Yeah. So that was the first when this started slowly.
That's great. So, in just less than 4 years, how did you build up your stamina to even attempt CKB?
That's a very good question because till now I have been asking the same question to myself that how I am able to do it.
Right.
But as far as I could say, initially I used to ride with cadence. In speaking of normal cycles, I have the 21 gear cycle on MTV, 3 into 7. So in there, I used to pick in the front, I used to keep the 2 gear, and in the behind, I used to keep in 6 or 5. So keeping steady in a flat terrain, I used to ride. Let's say for 50 kilometer, even for 100 kilometer also, I have kept it in a steady gear, like 2 into 6, and I have ridden for my cadence. Then when I went for the climbs or like mountains or hills, I used to try like without stopping anywhere. If there is a hill, I try to reach at the top of it and then take a rest if possible. Like slowly and steadily, I used to try it. So that's the way I think that's the main training that I used to do. Apart from that, I don't think I have done anything extra
Okay.
to build all those endurance or any other thing.
Did you have any coach or any trainer or someone who would guide you for such endurance rides or long distance cycle rides?
Not exactly. I used to look through YouTube videos, a lot
Okay.
of it.
Yeah.
So watching through that, I used to learn that for climbing or for any endurance ride, the saddle time is the first requirement that you need
Right.
to give. The second is the leg rotation. You might be able to give saddle time, but the number of rotations that you need to require, because your body doesn't know that you need to ride 200 kilometer, 300, 400, 600, or whatever the distance. You might be mentally prepared, but your body need to understand that yes, I will have to ride this amount of kilometer. So for that, either you need to have a trainer in the home where you can ride anytime. If not, then the cadence is only the option that you can do in the flat. And the other one is for the mountains, you can do is climbing. I used to climb a lot actually,
But
even in
where?
daily.
Where did you get the opportunity to climb?
In here, we have like few climbing, like we have Gandhi Mandap, then Kamakya Temple is also there.
Yeah,
And the best part is being in Guwahati, that Shillong or Meghalaya is pretty much near to me.
right.
So I can do like Shillong is around, if I say from my home is around 80 kilometer. So up and down it's 160 or approx 180. So in that time I can do Shillong up and down easily. So
Okay.
through that, in Shillong, I get around 3000 meters elevation up and
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
So I
good.
used to always go on weekends,
Mm-hmm.
and I look always follow other riders in Strava. So I try to I check their Strava rides where they go. So according to that also, I try to find different hilly areas within Guwahati where I can ride for practice.
Okay, so we have got a comment on our Insta page. You are blessed to be near hills. Yeah, that's a blessing. Yeah, not many riders get such an opportunity. Like riders in Delhi or maybe riders in Chennai or even Kolkata. There are lots of riders who are just practicing on the plains. They don't have any access to hills, nearby hills. That's good.
Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, even like there was a rider from Surat. I
Hmm.
think many brevet riders might know him. His name is Shantanu Chakraborty.
Right.
So he came here for his, I think, 11th SRBRM. So when he rode the 600 kilometer, even he said the same thing, that Guwahati is the best region to practice any BRMs, because Guwahati itself is only 25 kilometers from one end to other end. And
Hmm.
if you go out from Guwahati, you will start getting, if not hills, a
Hmm.
little bit of elevation will be there, here
Right.
and there.
Right.
So it's only 25 kilometers, you can say, the flats that we have. Rest, you will get a little bit of elevation, and if you go towards Upper Assam or even Meghalaya, you start getting the climbs,
And you
and
have
it's good for
already,
practice.
yes, and you have already done triple SRs, right?
Yes, in total, I have done 3 SRs
Right,
right now.
right. And tell us about how did you hear about CKB Clients Kebab?
I think yes. Like I was looking through the BRM events
Calendar.
calendar.
Uh,
So yeah, it was. I think I started browsing in September or August. I was browsing here and there because I was not able to do any longer BRMs
mm-hmm.
because of the COVID restrictions and there. So then I came through 1200 kilometer. I was like, okay, fine, 1200 is good. Then I opened it and went through the details. What intrigued me was till 2018, only 2 editions were done. I'm sorry, till 20, yes, only 2 editions were done.
Mm-hmm.
And till there, only two finishers were there, two riders who have completed on time.
Mm-hmm.
So that intrigued me, that how a BRM can be so difficult that only two riders have only be able to complete as of now. So that intrigued me. Well, like, okay, that's something challenging,
Mm-hmm.
because because I have ridden every like even I have ridden 1000 BRM on my MTB as well.
Oh
Like
wow.
until September of 2021, any all the BRMs or any travels that I have done, everything was done on my MTB. That was
Okay.
27.5 MTB, basic MTB.
Yeah.
So then I came to know, okay, that's something challenging. I thought, okay, let's give it a try. So everything like within 1 month frame, I purchased a new road bike. I trained for a few days, and through that I went to CKB. Everything like it was completely new terrain. I was first time going out of state, out of my city to try a new brevet, and that too at 1200 with 10,000 meter elevation.
And
So the intrigue, what intrigued,
and those who don't know the details about CKB, the routes, the thing. So can you just tell us about how and where it started and what was the gradient like? Of course, we know that it's 10,000 meter plus gradient, plus elevation in all. But
yeah.
how was the route and whether anyone of us can start or how they prepare for the BRM? And if you can tell us about the route itself, that would be best.
Yeah, so like the route that we got in October 2021 and the February one that we got was fairly similar. Only the few changes were done was in between. And if I say according to the road conditions, for us, for me being in Guwahati, in the national highway, we have speed breakers every 5 to 6 kilometer,
Right.
and there will be potholes and disturbance. But for riders who are staying in Kolkata or Bangalore or other metro cities, they might see the road conditions are far better. So for me, the road conditions that I got in the entire CKB out of the 1200 kilometer, I would say only 100 kilometer was damaged. If not damaged, I faced problems because of some construction or some other like constructions going on. 100 kilometer can be said as problematic, but rest 1100 kilometer was completely phenomenal for me because I have never ridden a road bike in a 30 kilometer current speed.
That's great.
I have ridden, but not for a longer period of time. But in CKB, I was able to cruise. 30 was our cruising speed in the initial starting time. So for, I should say like the roads are very good. So we started from Sonipat. There is a Fairwakens hotel from where we started. So from Sonipat, we took the Chandigarh route. So in there, in order to compensate some roads or some deviations, we went from Sonipat to Ambala. So Ambala was around 16 kilometers up and down. So from there we went to from Ambala we returned back. Then we came to Chandigarh. From Chandigarh we took the Shimla Express Highway, Shimla Himalayan Express Highway. So we went via Panchkula till Kalka, and from there, if I say from Panchkula till Kalka, it's a 10-kilometer climb. Then we returned back the same route. Then we went towards Una. So our first night halt was at Una, which was 450 kilometers from our start point. So Chiroda had given not strict instructions, but information that we need to complete 450 kilometers within 22 hours, or we need to try to complete 450 kilometer within 22 hours, so that for the next 2-3 days we get ample amount of sleep on the first day and we can start fresh.
Right.
So on October, which was my first ride, the riders who reached Una in 22 hours 450, those were the riders who were able to complete the third edition. In there, 5 riders were able to complete on time. That was the second highest homologations that were done for CKB. So this time too, I had the same game plan as I knew last time in October. I completed till 620 kilometer. So I reached even McLeodganj and I came back. So you could say I was done. I had remembered 50% of the route. So that was my plus point. So I had one target in my mind, one goal, that whatsoever be the reason or road conditions or climate condition, I have to reach Una 450 kilometer within 22 hours. But this time I reached in 24 hours. Only because when we started, it was pouring like rains, cats and dogs. So from 12 midnight, the ride starts. So from 12 midnight till early morning, 6 o'clock, it was raining heavily. So all the riders started in the rain. So due to that, some dropouts were there. But as I had kept my goal in mind that I need to reach Una anyhow. So I reached 450 kilometer in 24 hours with 2000-meter elevation. So first day was fairly easy because 200, 250, or I should say 300 is purely flat. Rest, you are getting 150 of climb in total, you can say. It might be less, but you can say in total with little bit of elevation, 150 is the climbing. So second day, for me, I think second day is the challenge one that we face, because second day you need to cover 250 or 230 kilometer with 3500-meter elevation. So that was the challenge that everyone needs to be prepared for the second day. So second day also Dada gave us the same game plan. You reach Una at 10 o'clock, which is 22 hours. Rest till 2 o'clock and try to leave Una at 3 or 3:30 anyhow, because McLeodganj is tough, because it's keep on climbing. I'm very bad at remembering the route names. That I always used to say, remember this route. So I never remember the route names, but I remember the road map. Okay, I need to go here and there. So in October, the problem that I was facing, the main problem that I had was my group set. The back group set that I had was a 1128 cassette, which I didn't know, because it was my first road bike. When I reached in the starting point, all the riders said that it's a small cassette, you will face problem. Initially, I thought that there won't be any issue, but when I started climbing the second day was a 20-kilometer non-stop climb till McLeodganj. So we had to climb in the heat also. So on that climb, I started feeling the pain. Then I knew that, okay, the cassette does give us a problem. But the main goal was in mind that, okay, I need to ride. So that's how I was able to complete the 620. But this time, since I had made those mistakes in October, I did not need to repeat. So I got the change in cassette. This time I installed 1134 cassette.
That's a better
which
preparation.
helped. Yeah. So within 4 months of time, I had to prepare, because the October was a failure, and it was a adrenaline rush that I had in October, that I need to do something challenging.
That is the most important part, that from failure we say that we learn a lot, and failure is the pillar of success. So these are not just mere sayings. We all understand, not only that, we undergo the same thing, that okay, we have failed, and BRM is a complete test of human patience, endurance, and everything.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Go on. Yeah, carry on.
And also that what I have seen, you need to know how you can entertain yourself in the longer format, because 200 is very easy, even 300 is very easy, that I have seen. But from 400, it's a different game plan, because for 400 you need to ride 27 hours, which is 1 day plus. Then 600. So in the different formats that I have ridden till now, I have seen that you need to know how you can entertain yourself by singing. So the way that I entertain is I usually go with earphones.
Okay.
But if I do not go with earphones, I used to hum any songs that I could remember. Any songs, be romantic songs or metal songs that I can come up at that particular moment. Either I would hum, or I would try to copy the lyrics as much as I can. So I try to entertain myself, or I try to look here and there, or I used to rotate my head with the song to go with the flow. So that's the way that I have seen that can entertain.
That's a good exercise. When you are riding, you have to move your neck. Otherwise, it can become a stiff neck also.
Yes, that's true. That I learned in the October, because the riders that I were riding with, they were almost in October we had around 11 registrations. So 12 registered, 11 were riding on the road. So the riders that I met were experienced, and it was, since it was a small group, the communication that we had was fairly easy, and as it was a small group, everybody was riding in the same pace. So we were sharing ideas here and there. So by looking at them, I could see that, okay, we need to do stretching, we need to do this and that. So that was my first learning, because in that group, I was the youngest rider. In the October group, I was the youngest
You are
among
still
all.
the youngest to finish CKB, right?
Uh, on time, yes, but on overall, no, because there is a rider from Delhi itself. He is
Okay.
of 24 years. He have completed, but he have completed, I think, in 91 or on 92 hours, something like that. But if you consider under homologation, then yes, I am the youngest one.
Good.
Under 90 hours, I am the youngest one for as of now.
And this was the qualification right for LEL, London, Edinburgh, London, right? So
Yes, yes. This was
you are
the.
going to LEL also.
Yes, I am prepared. I mentally I have prepared, so I have to start applying for visa.
Right.
So if I receive my visa, then I can say that yes, I am going. But as of now, that I would say yes.
Good, good. No, visa issues, I think it would be sorted out this year. It won't be much of a problem for athletes and riders for LEL.
So a lot. I think as of now, I think 2 or 3 riders have got their visa. I have not still applied yet. I think I would start the applying within this week or within next week. Then is the wait time, the appointment and everything.
Right.
So let's see on.
And for LEL, how are you going to prepare? Because that would be, of course, something will be similar, but lots of things would be different, like the weather conditions, like there might be rains, there might be chills and everything. So how are you going to plan for that? Because lots of our viewers in the audience, they are also planning for the same thing. Like Kirit has just joined. Kirit is also planning to go to LEL. Who was there with us
Okay.
last Sunday. So, how are you going to plan for LEL? If you can tell us in a few
So
words.
as far as so as far as I've seen in videos, heard from previous riders or anyone who have gone to visit London, it will be cold, it will be windy, it will rain, and it will be everything, mixed of everything. So one advantage that the CKB riders had, I could say for now, that we got the advantage of LEL a little bit. We could feel, because when we started, it rained. So we were riding in rain with cold weather. But yes, I would say that LEL would be much colder, because I have seen from videos that it might go to 2 or 3 degree. In CKB, we had minimum temperature of 4 degree, and it was raining. We were wet. So a little bit of practice I got in CKB. Rest is a practice that I need to do now. Mentally, I have prepared myself that I will do this and that, but till now I have not done any physical preparations, because I'm still not trying to hamper my muscles right now. Because until I have not recovered properly, I won't try to do anything practice. I'm doing still shorter practice, like riding 20 kilometer, 50, 100, shorter formats. But I think from next month or this month, mid of April, I would start riding for elevations, like similar thing, going towards Meghalaya, the best option that I have. So I will try to do either with slower speed, which will give me higher cadence and longer saddle time.
Okay.
That is one way that I will train. The other way that I will train is riding fast, which will give me shorter saddle time, but which will generate more power to my legs and thighs.
Right.
So I do both of them. So I try doing both of them, because just before February, in January, we had an event which was organized by Pratiksha Hospital. So on Saturday, we had the race. In there, I did 80 kilometer, which was with elevation of, I think, 1500 meters. Next day, I went on a Reco ride, which was of 200 kilometer with 3500 meters elevation. In there, I rode very slowly, which I
Of course,
gave
that's a record, right?
only normal. Yes. So record ride is also for me with elevation. People used to laugh, but I say that I know that for me, since I love going to hills, that's an advantage, that I love doing record rides on hilly areas. So these are the two ways that I usually train. Either going faster on hills, and the other way is going slow so that I generate more cadence.
And we have a question here regarding this almost, that what are your cycling goals next 5 years? So what are the races or ride plans that you are planning?
I never plan in such futuristic or in longer goals. Everything is done on shorter formats for me. Because I never know what will be like happening even next month. I never plan that way because it's going on a shorter basis. I got CKB, then I never knew that CKB will happen again in February.
Hmm.
So everything is happening on what should I say, on continuous basis. Events are coming. If I get interested, I go and try for that events.
Okay, so
But
tell us about your
one thing is,
2022 plan at least. If not next 5 years, tell us about this year plan. Any long endurance ride or race, like maybe Deccan Cliffhanger or the Great Himalayan Ultra or anything. The Sahyadri Classics in Pune, or that is in Ladakh, the Great Himalayan Ultra, or maybe Ultra Spice in from Goa
yeah.
to
So yeah,
Delhi and
those
back.
are in my bucket list. Yeah, the Inspire India events are in my bucket list, but I don't know when I can do them because I need to even since I'm working in a cancer-based hospital as a network assistant, so
Mhm.
I need to manage my holidays also. So according to that, so on feasible times, I do events.
Right.
And for 2022, LEL is the main focus that
ADL
I
is there.
have.
Right. ADL
Rest,
is there.
yeah, the rest I have focused in the Inspire India events that I have focused on. Next, when I went, I came to know about Gates of Heaven, which
Hmm.
is organized by Bangalore.
Right.
So that intrigued me because Gates of Heaven is same 1200-kilometer event, but with 13,000-meter elevation.
Hmm.
So both have different. If I say both have different comparison,
Hmm.
10,000-meter is different for CKB
Right.
because you're riding in flats for 450 or 500-kilometer. Rest you are getting in, let's say if you're riding 550 in flats, in 650 kilometer you are getting the 10,000-meter elevation. But when I saw the graph of Gates of Heaven, it's a rolling terrain, but still rolling terrain also we cannot take it easy because if it rains and if we do not know the routes, it will be difficult. Because I heard from few riders, I read some blogs.
Right.
From there, I came to know that even Gates of Heaven is challenging. No matter it's a rolling terrain, but it's challenging. And also, Gates of Heaven requires a qualifier. I
Right.
came to know from the Bangalore riders that you have to be you have to ride a LRM or be an SR or need to have 1,000 kilometer under a belt either in that season or till now to
Yeah.
be able to qualify to ride Gates of Heaven. So
Yeah.
that's so I ride those rides that intrigues me. That something might seem challenging.
Okay. So you don't like something that is on flat terrain or plains. You don't like those.
I do like, but for me, I've seen elevation is always a challenge
Right.
because when you're riding on a flat, you might be riding at 23 average or 25 average, but
Right.
when you start climbing, your average changes drastically.
Right.
So you need to know how you need to build your power or cadence. So, what I saw is most essential for any endurance, either on flats, ride on low cadence, I'm sorry, on high
Yeah.
cadence,
High cadence. Yeah.
so that you generate more power for your legs from rotating, or you go to hills where you can go in a normal pace and you build both cadence and power.
Okay.
That's my concept.
Okay.
I
And
might be wrong, but
no, no,
till
no.
now it has
That
worked for me.
everything is fine. I mean, that depends on the rider. That depends on you
Yeah,
in this case.
yeah.
So
But,
whatever you plan,
yeah,
it's up to you. But the basic science remains the same. When you are in the hills, you
correct.
should be on low cadence, and when you are in the flat or the plains, you should be on high cadence. So, there is another question, that which was your longest ride till date? I think
So see,
1200. CKB must
Yeah,
be.
Climbs Kebab
Yeah.
is, or till now, is my longest ride till date.
Another question is that
And
do you want to try national road racing, some CFI events, Cycling Federation of India events? Do you want to do that?
I'm still thinking on that question mark because road bike is still new to me. I started road biking in October. So October, November, December, January, February. So it's just 4 months for me. So, and I'm not sure that I might be able to. I'm not sure right now because to generate that power in a 100-kilometer race, I can generate that same amount of power in a 200-kilometer ride. But to generate that same 200-kilometer power or energy in a smaller format, I'm not sure how. I need to train differently then.
Right.
So it's
Absolutely
still
right.
CFI event is still CFI or
Yeah.
UCFI events are still a big question mark for me. I
Yeah.
don't know that I might be or I will be able to.
That's typical professional race, I would say. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's
Even
not an
the
endurance.
equipment. Yeah, it's not an endurance. There are events
Hmm.
that are certified by UCI
Hmm.
that have endurance events, but those it's a big question mark for me because I've just shifted from MTB to
Road bike.
road bike. It's just been 4 months, so I'm still riding MTB, but road bike. I came to road bike only for CKB for Climbs Kebab.
Right.
As I have stuck to road bike even on my 1,000. Previously, my longest was before CKB was 1,000-kilometer BRM itself in Guwahati. So that I rode on my MTB 27.5 MTB. So till September, I rode MTB on every BRM format. So
There
still, it's a question mark.
there is an invitation that I can see. It has come as a question that Kirit and Pinaki welcome you to ride in Pune Ghats with us. So Pune has a rolling terrain of Western Ghats in the Sahyadri.
Yeah, I have heard that it has, and it's a lot of, I think, Everesting has been done, I think, on Pune Ghats, if
Yeah,
I'm
in
correct.
Lavasa, on the outskirts of Pune, in
Yes,
Lavasa. Yeah, but Everesting
yes,
is
I have
also
heard
done
that.
in Bangalore Hills. In Bangalore, on the
Yeah, so
outskirts, in the Nandi Hills also, they have done Everesting. But Lavasa gives you lots of freedom in the sense, not much traffic, not much problem. So you can any
yeah,
cycle you
yeah.
can do.
Traffic does irritates me, but it's good that in Guwahati we have so much of traffic
Yeah.
that due to that I know how to maneuver within the traffic. So I looked at, okay, if my handlebar can go in that within two cars or within two bikes, I used to go because since endurance it's a time game.
Right.
Even if I wait between the bikes for it to give me space, I will lose some time. So due to that, sometimes we need to take smaller risk. So it's
Kirit
good
has,
that in here,
Kirit has commented Lavasa and Bhandara. So these are the areas where you can do Everesting and all these tough endurance hill repeats or all these things. They do. I mean, Kirit does it almost every weekend or so.
okay, okay. Yeah,
So,
that's good. Like
yeah,
a rider who has been riding on hills or any ghats or any hilly terrains, they know the difference. Initially, any rider would say, it's difficult to ride on hills. Yes, it's very difficult. And we never need to go after the rider who is going fast. That
right,
I have seen. Logic that we have seen that, okay, if he's going fast, I will also try to beat him or I will try to go after him. If you go that way, then you are losing your own speed and you're losing yourself. So it's better start slow. There is a saying that slow and steady wins the race.
right.
So in here also, in cycling logic in hills, especially in hills, that logic does apply. You start slow with 1:1 gear, then you start changing your gears. That
Hmm.
okay, I am starting with 1:1. Then if you see, okay, 1:1, I'm comfortable. Then go for 1:2. Try that for 2 or 3 times. Then change your gear again 1:3. Like keep switching, like, or keep upgrading. But it's a step-by-step process. It's not that, okay, I have done in one day, I will try again a different level on the next day.
Right.
It's a step-by-step process on hills because hills is never easy on anyone.
Right.
Because if you think, okay, I am going, I will reach the top.
Hmm.
But if you might see that it's the bottom of the next hill.
Hmm.
On hills is always, hills are never sorry or never good on you. You're starting from this one, and if you think this is the top, that might be a bottom for the next hill. In CKB, it does happen that way. You are starting and climbing, you're climbing and climbing, and at a point I reached, then I said, okay, I need to climb another hill. It happened in Dharamshala.
Hmm.
I could see the entire stretch in front of my eyes.
Hmm.
I was like, oh God, why I'm riding? I was scolding myself. It was a temperature of this was in October.
Right.
So it was the heat was coming in on my back. It was I was burning from inside. I could see the entire stretch. I think it should be of 2 kilometers.
Hmm.
I could see the stretch in front of my eyes. Then I could see a slow turn. Well, okay, it might be flat.
Hmm.
I somehow looked down and managed to reach that turn. When I reached that turn and looked up, there was again another climb. So in those times, it's a mental game that you need to play with your head. That okay, no, I will do it this way. Then I will take some rest, or I will climb, or I will climb and climb and climb until I don't reach the top. So it's a different game plan that you need to play. It's with your mind and different.
Kid is also writing on our comment box. If you can see, same thing in climb the Tashan in Pune, the same thing, all up,
Okay.
up, the same thing. So it happens. It happens in all hills and mountains, the same kind of thing. And any other questions, psychology, we have before we wrap up our live with Ripunjay? Any question? Any other thing that you can find on
No,
your platform?
nothing specific, but I think we can see him very soon in Pune for doing an Everesting with us. Maybe I
Good,
think
good.
Kirit can Kirit can invite him, and we can together do an Everesting in Pune. So that will be very good.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you very much
That's great.
for the invite. I will try that because I have seen a lot of Everester trying on Pune or Western Ghats because it's less hassle traffic and riders ride very easily without any problem. So
Right.
that is one that it's like a to-do list
Yeah.
Everesting on my
Yes,
goal.
yes, yes. That's great. And thanks, Ripunjay, for joining us. And those who have joined late, and you can find the whole video on our YouTube or on Instagram or on our Facebook page, everywhere. And we'll tag Ripunjay, of course. And wait for our next
Thank you very much.
live, next Sunday, 4 p.m. live with another cyclist that we are not going to name right now. And we'll reveal it very soon. Okay. Thanks, Ripunjay, for joining. Thanks, people, for joining.
Thank you very
Okay.
much for having me. Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye. Take care.
All right. Bye. Thank you. Same to you. Bye.